They say that childhood comes safe and soft, especially for the last born and the only girl child. But in my case, it wasn't so because mine was filled with pain, with confusion, with uncertainty. Just name it. If you have been following my story in part 5 of my childhood story, you may remember that I mentioned that after my stepmother's brother passed on, my madam refused to take me back to my village or look for any relative to come pick me up. And each time I asked her, she would shut me up and tell me that my family would look for me or come for me when they are ready. But I knew that nobody was coming for me because the only person that knows where I was late. So one day, as usual, she gave me money to go buy something from the market. That day is still so fresh in my memory as if it happened yesterday. She gave me 700 naira, which was a big amount of money back then, alongside with a list of the things to buy. And I can still hear her voice echoing. She said to me, Natakwa go, meaning come back quick, okay? But I never went back. The moment I stepped out of the gate, I felt a very strong urge to run away. And I didn't even think twice. I didn't know much about the city except my school, church, the market, the house. I didn't even know my way back to my village. I didn't have extra clothes except the one I wore and the slippers on with the 700 naira she gave me. But guess what? I was determined. Instead of going to the market, I took a motorcycle. I told the rider to take me straight to a nearby motor park where I could get a bus going to my state. He took me there without questions and I boarded the bus. And it was almost evening before the bus got filled up because it was a very long, luxurious bus. Because back then there was no small interstate buses like we have today. The journey was supposed to take about 3 to 4 hours. And when we got to my state, the passengers kept getting down at their stops, but I remained seated in the bus because I could not recognize my junction. I was praying and hoping that I could recognize it, but I couldn't because it was already dark. Eventually, we arrived at the final stop, and the driver asked me where my village was. I told him, and he was shocked. He told me that we've passed my junction, and by then it was too late to go back. He took me to their chairman, who told me to sleep inside the bus and told the driver to take me back in the morning because it was very late. That night was terrifying. I was alone in a packed bus, in a total darkness, filled with silence. Thank you, Jesus. The next morning, the driver took me back to that junction, took me to one of the chief and explained my situation to him. When the man asked my name and asked me a compound name, and when I told him, he shouted and said, "You're my friend's daughter. Your father is my friend." He mentioned my father's name. I said, yes. I was surprised. His wife gave me food. His wife took care of me. And he put me on his motorcycle and took me straight to the village, straight to our compound. My step grandmother, may also rest in peace. She started crying the moment she saw me because they've all thought they would never see me again because nobody knew where I was, so they could not look for me. So I began living with my grandmother and she became very, very good to me. But when the news of my return reached my stepmother's parents, another battle began. If my childhood story inspires you, kindly follow or subscribe for part 7, which I'll be dropping very soon. And like, comment, share so it can reach others. Thank you for watching.